city attorney.
Oh, sure.
I would assume he's here.
I don't know.
This is a yes.
Okay. When we look, Bismarck?
You guys look at the unpaid?
Yeah, I'll do it. I heard it, I guess. I'll take one.
Oh, that's the same.
Get it down the way a little bit. Check out the- Give me one.
Good job. You don't have your kid?
Well, that's going
No.
on. Yes, I can see it. Good.
Well, yeah, because that's the one that says public meeting, everyone welcome. We usually just leave it open until.
He's coming. Oh, my God.
Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks everybody for coming here. We got a couple, we're just gonna open the meeting. We're gonna go to, since we have Chanda on the phone or whatever, we're gonna skip down to the other one. We'll come back to the other one on the abatement for Chanda Ziegler, do the second one in your packet or whatever, so, okay? We'll open the meeting for the tax rate for the parcel 814-300-000, so. And you've all read it, you got a chance to read it. John?
Oh, Jana. She was going to be joining us.
And you can say,
I don't know if you, hi, this is Chanda Ziegler. I'm calling in from Las Vegas. I'm calling on behalf of my brother, Conrad Ziegler, who owns the property. I don't know if you wanted me to give you a little briefing on this, or if Jana's gonna do that. I think I heard Jana in the crowd.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm going ahead?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Thank you, council members. So first off, I want to thank Jana. She was very, very helpful in me looking over this. I have now gotten involved with some finances and some business matters of my brother's. And I was looking over his property taxes, and I saw that there was a huge jump between 2021 and 2022. So I took it upon myself to call Jana. She and her staff members, sorry, I don't remember her name, came out to the property. And I had some, she came and took some pictures and whatever, and I kind of asked her why the big jump, and she said that her and her coworker were going out and auditing properties and things like that, trying to get the records a little more better. And she said that she didn't have access to the inside of the house. So, I did give her access, and these are the numbers that we came up with. Like I said, she was very helpful in having me come up with these new numbers, told me the increases per year. So I'm hoping to get these taxes abated back for him. And also there was an error in there. He does not have central error in the property, and I would like that to be abated as well. My belief, and Janet, if you would like to put put in a word on this too, is I believe that the property was being valued as it is in a livable condition. As you can see from those 17 pictures, there is not much done in the house, and it is, in my opinion, unlivable. So that's why I'm asking for the abatement as well.
Had it been livable? I mean, is that where he was living? When he was here?
Yeah, I guess you could say it was kind of glamping in there, if that's what you want to call it. But yes, he was during winter time. My brother was living in there. During the summer, he's mostly gone working, so.
So they valued that 228,000, right, John? Is that correct?
Let me see. Are you looking at 24s?
I guess about 23, yes.
23? Well, I'm wanting to abate 22, 23, and 24. So you can see that the total in 22, I'm sorry, I don't have the numbers for 2021. Jana, do you happen to have that? I think it was like 180 something, or what was it in 2021?
I believe you're right. I don't have it in front of me, but it was over 100,000 at that point.
Yes, and it increased substantially. It went up to 254,000, almost 255,000 in 2022. So that's where I'm thinking there was a discrepancy, and Jana could not get into the property. I know she tried with her coworker, but they couldn't get into the property, and she could only assess what she could see from the outside. So that's why I think it went up in 2022, and then it just continued to go up, with the increases whenever, from 2023 and 2024. So I believe that the error, well, it's not really an error, it's not an error by anybody's fault. I think the error occurred between 2021 and 2022.
So this property was purchased in 2005,
Correct.
and what, are there taxes, is there taxes owed on it right now?
There are not, they are up to date. I know that there are taxes coming due for the next year, for 2024, and those will be paid. So no, there are no outstanding taxes on the property right now.
Where are you looking, what are you seeking, what are you asking?
I am asking to have the taxes abated, the difference to be figured out, and that refunded to my brother. And the new value to take place in the reassessed value to be put into place for 2025 taxes.
What is that new assessed value?
I'm sorry, I did not hear that.
I didn't hear either.
What is Jana's new assessed value?
Shanda's requested.
So I should actually, for 2025, when I was visiting with Karen this afternoon, I recently was updated on the most current camera system, and so priorly, there was nothing able to identify that there was no insulation and heat in a garage. So what I gave out in April did not have that there was heat, because there's floor heat there.
Yes,
so
there
it's
is.
a little different than, it's a little different than, what I had originally sent her, because like I said, I had updated since then. So, right now, if I remember correctly, because I looked at this afternoon, it would be right around $140,000, somewhere in there. And that would be identifying that there's a finished garage and taking into consideration 75% unfinished house, knowing that there is a bedroom and a bathroom that is finished, but the rest of the house, those pictures I took. So you can see, there's a lot of wood, there's no walls right now, that kind of thing.
There's no kitchen, there's no, he was pretty much camping in that house, let's put it that way. But, my brother doesn't need much, so it's not the way that I choose to live, but to each their own. But, Jana, you tell me this, from the conversations that we had, you do agree that this is overassessed?
So by law, you have to identify how much of a finish is on the actual property. And when I originally increased it that much, because I was not able to get into the property, I put it at 100% finish. So, having been able to go inside and knowing that there isn't a lot that is finished in the house portion, I did give some obsolescence in the fact of 75%, due to the fact that there are 2 of like 8, 9 rooms that are finished. And so you have to take into consideration that.
Now, when you mean that the 8, 9 rooms finished, I mean, what do you mean by that, Jen? I'm sorry, could you please explain that further?
So there are 2, okay, so there's the loft upstairs has a bedroom and a shower eventually, because that's not
Yes.
finished. And
Yes.
storage area. Then there's the living room and the dining room, kitchen. I believe there's like an office or another bedroom potentially on the first floor.
Correct.
And then there's a bedroom that's finished and a bathroom.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is that there are 2 rooms of the entire house that are actually finished.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
So you have a figure, John? What'd you say?
I think the 142.
142, is that
She
it?
doesn't have it in front of her, she said.
Somewhere in there.
Oh, you have 142 here, is that about right, you thinking?
If I remember right, because again, I had to update it,
Correct.
because I had not listed that it was, heated and insulated in the garage. Yes, that increased it about $20,000.
What's the plan, Chan?
But it
with the
still has
house?
a 75% obsolescence on the house.
What's the plan, Chan, with the house?
Well, I don't know if I wanna talk about that.
Well, is there improvements?
We're in a council meeting, but I have a vested interest in it, so, that might be a conversation that you and I have at a different time, so I apologize, but I just don't wanna make that public at the moment.
So, we get improvements, we approve something here, we certainly, it's gonna go up.
Well, definitely, I see some improvements in the future, but not anywhere in the near future. Meaning probably 5 years from now. But that could
To
change.
start 5 years from now, or to have it completed 5 years from now?
I would say start 5 years from now, between 3 and 5 years from now.
Okay, thank you.
It'll more than likely stay in the condition that it's in until, yeah, for a while, for at least a few years, at least 3 years.
So I do have another question.
Two.
As progress is being done, am I going to be really allowed to go and check on progress, or am I going to be?
Jana, if the, I mean, I don't know if you were, no, that is a very reasonable question, Jana. I love my brother, I love my family, I operate differently than them sometimes. If I'm the property owner, I will more than welcome you in with open arms, so, my understanding is you weren't able to get in, maybe it was during the summer, and he's not home a lot in the summertime, so.
Right, yep, and.
So you probably just weren't able to get in the house.
Well, and I had sent a letter, okay, here's my experience, and I don't remember how much of it I explained. But, so my experience was that I did send out a letter saying I was gonna be at the property at XYZ time. Because I do that for all the properties that I don't randomly show up, because I would prefer that people are there, but it's not always the case. So I did send out a letter, and I never heard it back, so I thought, okay, it's fine to go out there that day, that time. And it's very possible he was not there. I do not know. I rang the doorbell, there was nobody there.
Okay, regardless whether they're there or not, you guys ready to make any recommendations?
Well, I have a question, yeah. If I'm looking at this from 2019 and 2020, it was denied both times. And so in 2022, it jumped. Was there some improvements that made it jump or something? I mean, that's where I would.
So, right. So, if I'm remembering correctly, there was, rather large, somewhere in between 20 and 22, that, the city itself increased quite substantially. It might have been just the complete reassessment being implemented, I'm not sure. But, the biggest thing to remember is that there, in this case, in 2020, I did the reassessment. In 21 to 22 is when that reassessment would have been pushed in. Because just because I do a reassessment in 2020 doesn't mean that I use that number right away.
Right, right. But you were not, you were just basing that assessment in 19 and 20 on the outside. You weren't inside to look at
Right,
those.
so when you can't get in, you have to make some assumptions.
Sure.
And so the assumption was
And so the
that
council-
at least everything past what I could see in the living room was completed.
So the council was under, at that time, under the thought that it was completed inside. That's all they had to go by. They didn't have anything else to go by. Yes.
Correct.
I believe you are correct.
Well, we had to go back what the assessor told us.
What the assessor told you, right, right. I was just curious why,
Jump.
well, the jump and, 2 years, no, and what led to it?
No, and there are times where like, we'll send out a letter to an individual and they're like, well, you can't come in. And like, and that's fine, but you just realize there will be assumptions, and I've had that happen. And then guess what, they get the notification, they're like, yeah, come on in. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of happen.
Jana, I apologize if that was the case in this instance. I do not know if it was. I am just, becoming part of the situation now and hoping to make it better, those 3 years better and for the future better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and I do also know that, I have had some phone conversations with Mr. Ziegler. They
Okay.
weren't always pleasant.
Oh,
But,
okay, I apologize.
Nope, you're fine. That's my job.
Dean.
But I mean,
Jana, but all of
Okay.
your dealings with me have been great, right?
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's, what are you guys thinking here? What do you wanna do? I mean, the house isn't finished, I know it's not finished. I looked in there one time, my house went over there, with nothing done.
Well, I guess.
And all of those pictures that you have on the property card were taken by me.
Okay.
So what
So,
is the difference in the assessed value now?
Right here, Mike.
That 142?
Or that's what they're making, that's what they're requesting.
requested 142 bucks.
Is that Jan's?
For 2024,
That's for now.
42, and then, each year.
Yeah.
So what I did is when I talked to Shonda, I looked at the overall city increases.
Maybe they know what you know.
The year that she is,
The inside.
abating.
But I don't
Yes.
know that we can go back when that's kind of his own fault for not letting them in there too.
I would say right now you do it at 2024 at that number. I don't know, I would go back either.
So if you agree with this
Well,
one
okay.
for 2024?
Yeah, if that's Jan's number, I'm fine with it.
Gary?
Is that with the knowledge that there's heat in the building? Said
Sure.
something about heat, she didn't know it was in there.
Oh, this is heat.
She said there's heat
Floor
in the
heat.
garage,
Floor
right,
heat.
Gianni, you said there's floor heat in the garage.
I believe, yeah.
There's no heat in the house?
Jan, does there heat in the house?
I know there's a fireplace in there, honestly, I think there's a little bit of heat in there, I don't know, I'm getting involved, this is the first winter that I'm involved in this, so I'm not quite certain about that, I mean, there has to be, I don't see why there wouldn't be. I remember seeing thermostats in there, but I don't think they were in every room, I'm not 100% familiar with the house.
Who's taking care of the house?
God at the moment.
Nice guy.
It'll get cold shortly.
I know, but we're working on it, the family's working on it. I do have one question though, I guess why would you guys abate 2024 and not 22 or 23?
I don't think there was the knowledge of what was inside.
But that, I'm bringing it to your attention now, and by law, we can go back 3 years, Jana, is it 2 or 3 years?
Yes, correct. Well, it's 2 years plus the current, so the current will be 24, and then you can go back 23 and 22.
So 2019, 20 stay,
Yeah, it's done.
21 stay, so 22, 23, 24.
I don't have a problem.
So-
It's up to you guys. I don't have a problem with it, it's up to you guys, do I mean, it's just, I mean, I know the house isn't,
It's not livable.
no,
I wouldn't live in it.
no.
I wouldn't even let my dog.
So,
live in it.
but are we gonna get access to it in the near future when the improvements start happening and all this, or?
You don't even have it.
Otherwise, we're gonna assume that, we'll have to assume that it's complete if we don't get in, I don't, you know what I mean, Chanda?
No, I don't have a problem with that, I foresee that I'm going to be involved with this, from here on out.
That's what I'm
So,
thinking, you're gonna be around, right?
so-
You know, and here's the other thing to think about. There is excuse me, there is another option. So we know for sure that 3 years out, there won't be any work done, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we can say in 3 years, because remodeling takes time,
That's basically.
every year could have like, 10 plus whatever the city, 10% plus whatever the city needs an increase in to stay in,
Oh, yeah.
report for the State Board of Equalization. You know,
So that 10%
so in
every year.
2028, you could do 10% increase based on what should have happened, you know, that kind of thing. It's a possibility, it's something to consider, it's not something that I will tell you to do because I'm not the decision maker right now.
Well, and Jana, I'm gonna, comment on that too, I mean, I say it could be 3 years, it could be 5 years, I mean, I don't know what the future holds, the property is not mine. I cannot make decisions without the main decision maker being able to, and I'm not at a point where I'm ready to buy it either, so I don't know if I feel comfortable with that, I would rather have somebody come out to the house and look at it, or I could, I need to work on that.
Comfortable doing that? Yes, and I'm perfectly comfortable doing that as long as you or Conrad are willing to be like, okay, well, here's the pictures from now, and now I can take updated pictures to be like, okay, well, there's now there's another room finished,
Yeah, definitely, I'm all up for that.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. All right,
I make a move, we just go back.
something to 3 years,
Yes, 2 years.
that's just,
And then,
Or you need,
yep. and
or you
then-
need 3, 22, 23, and 24.
right?
Okay, 3 years then, yes,
Go back,
and then start this year, the 142.
okay. Motion on the floor, there a second?
That's what Jana says it's worth, and that's what we need to go by.
I'll second that.
Gary will second that, any discussion?
Do we need a certified appraiser coming in here?
Nope,
No.
it's not a certified appraisal.
That's what Jana is.
Yeah, but
For
there's, okay,
So the issue with appraisals, I'm gonna repeat myself from April. Problem with appraisals is that they can take sales from outside of Harvey City to make comparisons of, whereas we are doing mass appraisal, which is comparing everything within the county. And so they kind of get messy if you get an appraiser involved.
I don't think we're ready for that. We're not ready for that.
Okay, don't need to. Any more discussion? More discussion?
May I ask one final question? I don't know where it goes from here. Will somebody be in touch with me?
So what happens is that Karen will send it to Dan and I, and we will be at the next commissioner meeting next month. So you might receive a tax statement in November based on the 2024 current value. However, after the taxes are run, I will do an abatement so that that is taken care of. So it will reflect 142 instead of the 2 whatever.
Right.
The county has to approve this, the final county, right? That's the final approval.
Yes, and I see no issues with it. And like I said, I do all the abatements through my office,
Okay.
so I will be in touch with Sean.
Okay, more
Thank you.
discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you, Chanda.
Thank you, have a good evening.
Close that meeting, open up the other meeting on the next one, and that'll be Brad. Is that Brad? I guess I never known you. Knew ya. Okay.
Come on up.
Come on, okay. Brad wants,
You want me to come up there?
you can do whatever you want. So your value was assessed at $841,000, and you paid $275,000.
That is correct.
And that you want true and full value, $275,000.
I'll take less if you want, but 275 is gonna be.
You take more too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, personally, I don't know how you go about the but you paid for it, that's, whatever it is, that's what,
That's it.
you know, you paid that much, I don't know how you're gonna say, all of a sudden it's worth $500,000 more than you paid for it. What's your plan?
Fix it.
Okay,
Yep, so I had to pay taxes, because the taxes were not paid on it, so I already paid taxes for
Correct.
last year.
correct.
And I'll have to pay taxes for this upcoming year, even though I just picked it up in October.
You're
So-
gonna start fixing then pretty.
I'm already working on it.
Already working on it?
I'm already working on it.
You going like
So
one
the,
at a time, or what are you doing, just kinda going through them all? or
Yep,
just-
yep, so the one farthest to the west is the nicest of the bunch, so we have somebody in there painting right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to turn the water on, and it was not winterized.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
So you're,
I got busted pipes everywhere.
okay.
Yep,
So your plan is maybe to get some renters in by,
I'm hoping by winter, but we'll see here. So the other trouble is, if it was not winterized on the inside, I'm wondering if it wasn't winterized on the outside, from the city side. So if I got city pipes that are busted, we might have some big issues.
We haven't shut off.
Right, they were shut off, but I talked to the guy who said he winterized it, and he said, yeah, we winterized it, but you gotta shut the valves after it was winterized, so we have pipes that popped. And he said there were some that weren't able to be shut off at the curb. So I'm just hoping those didn't pop as well, that weren't able to be shut off. So we'll find out here shortly,
okay.
but, yeah, we got a lot of work to do.
I don't see any problem to do something, but you guys, I don't think that's.
No.
Get in any farther, it's hard to say it's worth more than what you paid for it.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion second, any discussion?
Who was the second?
Any discussion, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All same sign, you were easy.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, we have
Well,
to.
good luck, I mean, hope you get that thing going and get it.
We're gonna rock and roll.
Everything good goes good.
Yeah.
Get some good clientele and everything good for you. so.
Yeah.
The only,
What?
the only thing that I would like to add to it is that as this more registered, then a reassessment will need to be done within the next year to 3 years.
Doesn't bother me one bit.
Good enough.
That's fair, yeah.
Okay,
Good, thanks guys.
easy enough, okay. Thank you, okay, we'll close that meeting, our regular meeting, okay. Move on here a little bit, page 9, some minutes from October 9th, any corrections or additions to the minutes in there?
Move to approve that.
Minutes, page 9,
Second to approve. Milo.
what's that?
Milo moved to approve.
Move, second. I'll second. Second, discussion. Any discussion, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Financials, page 10 through 22, if you have a chance to look at the financials. And the approval of vouchers, we'll do it all together. Questions on that? If not, I get a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay, all right, second, Harry, second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call, Donnie?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Gil?
Yep.
Gary?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Mike?
Yep.
Motion carried. Okay, visitors, Ryan Schneidel, our fire department.
Hi
Welcome.
guys. Just wanted to give you an update, with our old LaFrance, that is, I think most of you guys know, that is gonna be sold. Ben's gonna be selling it for the city, out at Integrity Auctioneers. I guess the only thing it's gonna be is he's gonna charge a little bit.
Put it on the internet.
Put it on the internet and sell it. Update on our new UTV, that is all up and running. So our old one, we're gonna get that cleaned up and get it out there as well for him to sell. I'm asking the money that goes for, if that could be coming back to the fire department for us to go towards the new one that we kind of purchased. We're still doing a lot of fundraising have some money to go on that, but, pretty much right now, the machine's probably sitting at, with the skid unit and the machine and all the fittings, around like 58,000. We did enough to pay for the machine, we're kinda fundraising right now to pay for the skid and all the rest of the stuff, but it's just kinda what I'm wondering if, whatever the old one sells for.
What's the old one worth?
Right? So you just want the money from the sales, right, for yourself, basically is what you're asking
Kinda
for?
go towards, you know, our, since we're kinda pretty much
I ain't seen
fundraising.
that one go.
I would hope it
Better
would
than
go
the
for
originals with it.
$5,000,
For the what, the
For the front.
no,
For the
for the
quota?
UTV.
But you're just asking for the UTV? and
Yes.
For the funds from the UTV?
Yes,
Right.
and I'm hoping the funds that the LaFrance gets sold to, I would like the council to kind of look at putting that into like a truck fund,
The reserve fund.
or like a reserve fund,
So
cause,
they wanna get a truck or like. for
well,
something
like
that?
now, I
Or
mean, our
equipment
old
or-
Unit 3,
Yeah.
that is our second city truck, that's over 30 years old. It's kind of been at a rotation to where when a truck reaches 30 years old, it gets replaced. Well, we went a different route and, you know, we replaced the tank on it to make it last a little longer, but kinda like get back, you know, it's not gonna be me as a chief, but just get back into that of saving money, and when it comes time, there's at least something there.
I don't know what's wrong with that either, but
No.
do we need to vote on that?
Yes, we want to make a motion
Alright.
on our minutes.
Is this abnormal?
I don't think so, but I just think we'd really like to have it
Money
recorded
disposed
so that
of.
everybody knows in the future what happened to the money, they disposed of the property.
Sure, well, somebody put that in good terms and words.
So moved.
So move, say the motion on. How do you wanna say it? How do you wanna say it?
That we'll put the LaFrance in as
Reserve.
reserve, and we'll give them the money back for the other unit, so they can use it against their
Okay,
new one.
okay, second?
I will.
Okay, Gil second, any discussion? Discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And just, we did order, 6 sets of bunker gear.
When's it coming?
It'll probably be here before the end of the year, and that's also a 50-50 with the city and the rural. And I kinda mentioned that earlier, I believe, this spring, that we're trying to order 6 sets per year, because we're gonna be coming up in 2 years to where there's gonna be like 15 sets are due. So we're gonna try to space it out so it's not a huge thing.
How's the raffle going?
Tickets are almost all out.
They're almost all gone. I thought maybe a couple guys in here might wanna play, so you might wanna get them up.
All the books are out, I sold
You guys
mine.
sitting back there, I wanna hit you up for all this, so just.
Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah, they've done good.
They've done good,
Yeah.
that's a good deal.
And some of that money will be going towards our UTV, and then part of it also is gonna be towards the hose that we purchased for the new rural truck for the road for them.
You did a good job, thank you.
Any questions or anything you got for me?
Get that going.
We'll clean it up this weekend. The new truck should be here this weekend, so,
Really?
yeah, for the road, so
Better get yourself a picture of it, no paper, or whatever.
I'm sure there will be.
And then when you drive around town,
Yeah,
okay?
all right,
Thank you.
thanks, guys.
GDA report.
Let's do Chris.
Oh, GDA report.
Okay.
Chris is here for the duration.
Well, good evening, council members. My report's attached if there's any questions on some of the things that happened this month. Just have some highlights. Housing was a big theme of the month. Was revisiting with some of our larger local employers to really assess some kind of anecdotal need. We have our housing study that we can go off of, but I entertained some new conversations with a developer out of Grand Forks that just broke ground on a deal in Grafton of 72 units. Now, granted, we don't need anything at that sizability, but we wanted to assess need, whether it's senior versus multifamily versus single-family dwellings, to see what type of program we could put together. We're kind of coincidentally talking about a 16-unit plan, theoretically and hypothetically speaking, of course, but there is a program at the Bank of North Dakota that was leveraged up in Grafton called the RWISH program, which could in the event of something happening and having some buy-in from local employers and businesses could provide up to 20% of the equity for the project. So we're trying to see how we could put together some sort of deal and get something consequential done. I think the theme is that especially in rural, since you don't get the valuation side that you would in Fargo or a Bismarck, is it takes a little bit more creativity to get something done. I just like to reiterate too, the Harvey Manor stuff, getting on work on that is so great. Remember, I just want to remind, that's 28 units of critical workforce housing that should come back. So I think it's amazing that that's happening. A couple of people that came in that I mentioned months prior with a couple of real estate investors that Representative Nelson got me in contact. We're at a point where we're just waiting on the application to get done and putting some things together. But again, that program was trying to look at some of the existing infill lots that we have, or some of the existing platted ones, and getting some modular single level houses to go on some of those vacant lots, and at least get some valuation and some units available. The housing LLC docs, say I updated the JDA board too, and some of the more details that Nyhus we're working with Nathan out of Nyhus Law on that, is some of the more detailed information that we want, what that would exactly look like. Got that over, so we're just looking to get something kind of scheduled out to discuss it a little further. I know that, there's certainly nuance with if there's public and private funds together, so we just want to make sure that we're doing this the right way. Even though it sounds like it could be something that could be done. I'd spoken with a couple people that have done something relatively similar, but not quite there, but thought it was intriguing at least to explore as well. But then also with some policy, so as you guys know, we hosted the governor here at a rounding table, and with my involvement on the Economic Development Foundation Board, housing obviously has been a really big hot topic. So I just wanted to say too, that the governor had a press conference the other day, and with some of the discussions that we've had with some policy propositions that's in some advisory positions, I just wanted to highlight some of the things that they're aiming to look at. So we have 6 categories together that they want to do to address housing needs. That's going to total up to $96 million. And obviously this has to go through the legislature, but some red tape reduction to support local housing efforts by providing flexible grants to local governments for improvements such as updating local zoning codes, streamlining review of approvals to building permits, updating comprehensive housing plans, etc. Provide grants for those willing to explore innovative methods, building residential housing, as well as neighborhood builder grant for small-scale urban housing projects, and community builder grant for small-scale rural housing projects. Some financing innovations with the HIF fund, wanting to provide some more robust gap financing for projects or secured financing, especially in rural. There's another highlight for rural there. Some homelessness services, provide emergency shelter operating funds and rapid rehousing assistance to supplement existing programs. Financial coaching, provide eviction prevention to benefit renters and housing providers. So some assistance to some of those people to get some more of that financial literacy when it comes to the renters and the other side. And then construction workforce, providing grants to local schools, investing in the equipment and resources needed to grow the workforce pipeline for housing construction and the trades, as well as investing in tech required to deploy some of the new technologies getting into the housing, like 3D printing. So this could be something like, I remember if you ever go by West Fargo Public School, a lot of times you will see a modular house being built on their campus, and they have some of their kids help in that process as they learn. And if we could get some of that pipeline activity happening in rural parts of North Dakota, that could be really big time. So I think that those are all really good things. So I just wanted to highlight that briefly. There was a formal advisory committee, but we've, as myself, as a stakeholder in a number of these different things, that's been a big focus, a lot of the work we're doing. Some other things, we're working with somebody, I'm not gonna name who, just out of, I don't know if they want that to be known, but there's a business in town that's looking for some relocation assistance to get somewhere else, so we're working through that. Christmas cash, we're on our way there. We're hoping that we have our best year ever. I know we did print some ads and had some literature go out with more of a clarification that if you're a resident of Maddock or Fessenden or Drake Animate, this isn't restricted just for Harvey residents. You have to spend your money in Harvey with Harvey businesses, but somebody from Fessenden wanted to come and take out a loan with a Harvey bank and spend it at a Harvey business. Let's get those dollars spent here. So I just wanted to update that there is that type of clarifications. I'd hope we get some more of those folks in here too to spend their dollars in our town.
It's a good thing, but can we get the businesses listed out too in the paper or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
So they know which businesses are taking it?
Yep. Yeah, I plan on doing that.
Okay.
Facebook too, and so.
Sure.
And then the last thing too is just because it's around the corner, and I know I've mentioned this too, is that we have our legislature meeting again in January. So if there's any sort of priorities or anything that Harvey would deem that we think we need to push for, let me know. That's one of the things I do extensively the last time they met, and you know, there's a lot of value in doing that, especially as a rural community. So, but yeah, other than that, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Police reports, I know this is starting a new officer, right? No, outside.
The new officer and?
Yes.
Yep.
So. And then Bolton, I guess you'd be next or whatever, so. I don't know. You just look from the flag. Okay. Hi, Joshua Clark of Harvey, North Dakota.
I, Joshua Clark of Harvey, North Dakota,
Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
of the United States and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota.
of the United States and the Constitution of North
I
Dakota.
will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Harvey Police Officer.
Yeah.
I will
I will faithfully
discharge the duties of the
discharge the
office
duties of the
Harvey Police Officer according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Good. Colton Martin, I guess we'll swear you in as. Sure. Assistant.
Deputy.
Okay. Deputy. Okay. I, Colton Martin, formerly whatever, in Harvey, Bismarck, North Dakota, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution.
the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
The Constitution of the State of North Dakota.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Deputy City Attorney
of the Office of Deputy City Attorney
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
So
ability.
help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, take the police report here on that, John, will come up, but first of all, I just can't say how much I've been appreciated what the police have done and the new officer and how well they've worked with the Wells County Sheriff's Department and everything. Seems to be going a lot better, and I think that's kudos to you guys for doing it, so.
Well, definitely, we need to work together, so I've been working very closely with them. And unfortunately, we had some cases where we needed to work together very close, and was seamless, so it was really nice. If you guys see my report, I finally figured out how to use the system correctly to give you stats. I think the thing that's really interesting when you look at the hours and the days that we're getting crime reports, so take a look at that. If any questions or anything, feel free to ask. It's another busy month. Steady, very steady, and then it always seems like every month we have one big crime we're dealing with, so. But it is what it is, so. Any questions for me?
Did you find my gun?
No, not yet. No. ATF does not respond fast to anything, so.
Any questions? Just to clarify, Josh is working here. He will be going to the academy in February, but then he'll be working some weekends, but he will be on his own limited life, but he'll be full-time when he comes back. And looks like he's a vested person and
Oh, I've known
great
Josh
guy from
since
what
he
I've got
was,
to talk to him
yeah.
and learn about him or whatever too, so.
Known Josh since he was 8, so unfortunately I tried not, so he didn't have to go to the academy, but North Dakota is very stringent on it. I mean, I'm a victim of that. I had to go back twice because I left and they did not accept my credentials from another state. So it is what it is, and Josh is willing to do it, and I'm really happy he's here. It's good help, and help I trust, so.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Any questions for you guys or anybody? Or
Anything for me?
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Public Works.
Hey, got my report there, but we came up with the heater in the city shop that went kaput on us. Keller Plumbing, Elijah came and checked it out. The resident board was $1,000, fan motor was $200, labor and come to 1494. He's just guessing, not writing it on paper, but he says 45 to 5,000 for a new one. And that would keep the shop. So, and he said, we don't know what the burners are, but it was, 98, so it's 26 years old.
So that one that's in there, is that even big enough to heat that place?
Yeah, he said from the specs they checked that it's big enough.
But it's.
And if we do two, he said you're looking at probably 1,000 more, you know, because of the plumbing and stuff, but.
This one be the same size as the one in there, a little bit?
Yeah, actually, he said it's, the one that was in there would've took care of it.
So,
And even with opening the doors and stuff.
so that's 1,400 on there, we had the one for 5 or 6. That's 26 years old.
How much to fix it, he thinks?
1,500, you guys, if you wanna look at it.
Is that labor too, or is that just the price?
That's with labor. But, you know, the, burners and stuff would be going down too.
And that's a resident.
The replacement is the same price, pretty much what you quoted for the shop at the bus.
Oh, really?
Same thing. That's
That's what the first
what you want.
Okay.
Well, my experience with residents has been pretty good. I've got a couple of them, and
Yeah.
actually the older ones, I've been told, don't ever get rid of that thing because the new ones aren't as good. So I don't know, you know, that's necessarily a selling feature on buying a new furnace for one of those, other than it's new enough, it's got electronics in it, so, and that's what they're replacing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that got cast iron, burners, or is it?
That I have no idea. He did get, some of the prices because of short notice to get a hold of the guys and stuff.
You can still get parts for this unit?
He said you're out about 5 days. 6 days on that. And he said he has to do the updated version because that board, they don't make it anymore.
So,
I think we should just repair the one we got.
I'm kind of inclined to think that too, based on my.
If it goes another winter or whatever, we'll worry about it next year.
That's not, yeah.
It's not a terrible amount of money.
No, I would agree.
I move to fix the old one.
I'll second that.
second. Any discussion? Carrie did it. Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay, fix it. So everything else, anything else on the?
Nope, that should do her.
That you guys, anything there, okay? All right, and then you saw these pictures, what they did there, so, okay, let's move on to the auditor's report then. Or wait, garbage truck, did you get up there?
I did, I was supposed, I meant to text him again today. He wanted me to email that, invoice with all the work that had been done. But he was waiting to get his email cleaned out, and I forgot to text him today.
So what do you think to him?
He's fixing and finding a home for it.
Good. So keep pursuing it.
Interesting, he actually knows people up here, and there's people from here working for them down there.
Then you'll get back to him now.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay,
I'll try and text him tomorrow.
sure, okay. The auditor's report,
Can we please take
what,
the attorney?
does he wanna say something, Chris?
Do you wanna say anything?
And I would introduce Colton.
Oh,
but
okay,
For
but,
anybody that doesn't know, this is Colton Martin. Or we can wait till the end too, but Colton's worked for me for about a year and a half. He is from Nyhus. Well, you can introduce yourself.
Graduated law school back in May. I know some of you know my parents or my grandparents, but glad to be back in the hometown area. So,
glad to have you. Thank you.
Was he gonna be living up here?
no,
No. He said he would have
not
to
yet.
live here.
Well, serving my hometown area, I'll say that. There you go.
Great.
Glad to have him. So that makes 3. We've got one more commitment to come on about 10 months from now. So that'll be 4 attorneys, and hopefully that keeps the wheels turning. So feel real fortunate to have him.
parking is not,
Your report.
yes, you can,
Last year's report, we talked about the parking over there, and everybody must have driven by, or supposed to drive by, and what you thought, we go back to some parallel parking or whatever, I thought, right, they didn't have a problem with it, they just parked in the back or whatever, but they go down the line. Said somebody just drove by again, and yeah, things are sticking out pretty good the other day again, so. You know, we're talking about by the dentist's office, and they're talking about parallel parking on one side of the street, but it's just not wide enough.
on 9th and, or,
I'm talking about parallel
Nine,
parking
off
on
of
the
Lincoln.
dentist side, where they said the other side where it's more busier and people have more, and that they want work they can park on the other side too. But what are your thoughts?
I think, personally, that you should do it just like the street here. You know, parallel park on the south side and vertical on the other side. Along, you know, the dentist area. Go vertical
on the
there.
dentist area?
And then horizontal on the other side, cause there's more room on the other side for horizontal, cause the other side's got those driveways and things, kinda cuts it up.
Well, the driveway's in front of the road, they're only in front of Fry's on both.
Fry's one,
They don't have a problem.
the alley
parking in the
there.
back there, but yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I always thought there's more business on the other side of the street, was my thing, you got the tire shop, and you got Lincoln and 9 over there, the people are gonna park over there, that was my thought.
Yeah, that's why it's more uniform,
But it's,
the signs always, over the streets.
that's kind of where, then the next block going down between Lincoln and Adams is the
Yeah.
same way that
People
this
adjust.
block is.
That's my thing, you gotta do what you want, I don't care. Anything or nothing at all, it's up to you.
I just wonder too, I mean, it's harder, we'll make it harder on tire shop, that's for sure, but, so then if he starts parking on Alder, is Alder gonna get squished in?
More congested.
We're gonna have problems there, so, and that's busy. I don't know, and I get it, it's bad, both angle parking is bad on 9th Street, but
Couple things to consider, you know, he does have a parking lot.
he does.
I know it's a little busy sometimes, but that could be a possibility if he's having a problem, but has Dale complained to anybody?
As far as the parking?
Yeah, he's discussed.
No, well, I don't know, I guess I suppose we can move around, I don't know, it doesn't matter to me, it's what he told me, you know, he didn't really want to, you know.
Well, most of the people he uses,
He liked the
facility are gonna park right in front of the
Yeah,
main door.
and then back, you know.
He's got service trucks and
He's got
big
trucks
trucks.
in there and buses and
Yeah,
semis. Yeah,
I favor parking diagonal on his side and parallel on
yeah, I do too, and I know it's not uniform then, but I do favor that. Especially with, Fry's taking 3 cars into their parking lot.
Parking lot, they take them in or whatever, then you got the restaurant opening up over there, you know, open up,
Maybe even more busy
Yeah.
when they finally get open.
just, January.
If they open.
Well,
Sorry for Monday night.
somebody can make a motion what they wanna do, or if they don't, or do or whatever.
The other problem is, how are you gonna sign it so people are gonna pay attention to park that way? How are you gonna get them started doing that?
I think you're gonna have to get some signs first, and then we're just gonna have to get it out there, you know, and be lenient a little bit till people figure it out, and eventually
the.
figure
No
it out.
yellow lines?
Huh? Oh, it could be, maybe, I don't know, eventually.
You won't see those in winter.
I know, but you gotta try something to
You
get
could
it
put
into
some
their
yellow
head.
lines out there, I guess
You know?
that, you know, you probably could. Always know what I mean.
Start sending out public notice and then, warnings.
Yeah, just.
The way you know, you first
Word
get
of mouth and
notification.
talking now right away or whatever, I guess, I think it'll eventually come into play, but that's.
Well, what if we've kicked it around for 3 months, what if we kick it around another 4 until spring? See what,
See how it transpires over the winter, like
with the new restaurant, that's what I'm really curious.
That's not a dumb idea.
been that way this long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been longer than that.
Right.
I'd go for that.
Yeah.
Biggest thing, if you just get people to actually park diagonally, not swing across.
I think in the summertime, I think in the spring and the summer, they could paint some lines and we could put some notice out there. I don't think it would take long and people would start, they would parallel.
Yeah.
So you want to table, is that what you're saying?
I
I think so.
I would say to table it.
Okay,
I agree with that.
all right, don't have more motions on that, okay, did have a, I'll take the next one too.
Yep, that's
We
great.
did have a resident complaint that you guys saw in your packet, it has been addressed, it's under investigation, the guy has cleaned his place up though, I don't know if you've seen it before, but, I don't even know if he's living there, to tell you the truth, if you know what we're talking about, but, for our officers, it is under investigation, he did talk to this guy that filed the complaint and everything, and he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's got it, as of right now, so I just,
The major concerns have been addressed.
but it has cleaned up, but if you drive by from, you drive by.
I mean, some of the eyesore issues are still there, but the safety
Still
concerns,
working on it.
vehicles up on blocks and things like that, he took care of with it.
So I think, well, my recommendation is let John and those guys work on it a little bit more and just,
He was a generator to run his house.
I think he was, I really do. I think he was for a while, I just, but if you'd have seen it before, and it's still messy, but if you'd have seen it before,
It's some of, I mean, to be careful when it's
Right?
a public meeting.
It's
but the
gotten
complaint
better.
did, some things were unfounded that were accused.
I'm sure you can keep talking a little bit or whatever,
I think it's a fair
right?
way to put it.
Yeah, good. So if you just, that's good with you guys, like, that, you read it, and. Okay. All right, then go ahead,
You wanna do the last one?
I might as well,
Keep going, the property.
foreclosed properties. We have some, you guys saw those, I think, too, or whatever.
Where is the one on Custer?
Right next to Mrs. Lott's house.
Okay, it's between the shed.
That's the one, where that's at the time before, you got a person interested in buying it, I can't do nothing until let the family or somebody buy it and pay the tax, so that probably is.
That's the only,
That's a high,
Custer.
there's no house or nothing there.
City.
Nope.
is that little one, is there some?
No, all these are up on the screen?
No, I mean, Custer is, that's the only, Custer is just the short walk.
Yes. Yes.
Doesn't go north side or,
Nope, that's not.
Well, it's just up
The
there.
only house is 8068700.
on Pleasant Street.
So my understanding is if they go back, then we, city can buy them if you want. For a dollar or whatever they sell.
We can buy them right now for this price, if
Right, we
anybody
don't-
thinks
we
we
wanna buy
should
them
buy
right now.
them,
No,
or we
no.
can just let the county
Yeah.
do the process, and we can buy them for $1.
Somebody steps up, if not, we can get them later. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
And sure,
I was surprised to see that one on Pleasant Street, that doesn't look that bad of a house.
it hasn't been lived in since 12.
12.
There we go.
Where is that one?
It's, right in the corner across from Don and Judy Keller's.
At a
What's
diagonal.
It's on to the.
Oh,
The
okay.
blue house with the.
Right there in that little, little alleyway.
Yeah, Taylor Avenue.
To the west, yeah, I think, right.
Yeah.
Across from
Yeah,
the
no
road.
one's lived in there for a long time.
Terry looked it up at 12. 2000.
Didn't it used to be, Melissa and Jared Anderson? Did they live there?
Jerry,
Jared, yeah.
I don't know their answer. We never lived where they are.
We don't want to do anything with them right now.
No.
Okay, okay.
Consensus?
And then more engineering report here.
More engineering report. So, Sweeney is scheduled to come December 2nd to do the water treatment plant improvements. More engineering is looking for a request for an approval of invoice 41176 for $2,807.90.
Pumps and shit, right?
We already approved that. Josh
We
is
did
a
that,
little,
right?
yeah, he was confused. We
Because
approved that.
Should have had that.
We had it last meeting. And they already have it in and done. Correct, Jamie? So you wanna talk at all about the water treatment plant?
Things are moving along, the actuators are half done. Missing parts for the bottom in the pit actuators, we're missing some shafts, so they are gonna be here when the parts show up. So, but everything's working, so.
And we had the,
Pit sucked out, the backlash pit, it was about 18 inches of sand in there.
How's that black sand in the picture?
So,
Yeah.
that was how long between that? Years?
I never did see where.
We
it-
couldn't
quite a while.
find it.
but-
Or if it's
What's
ever
your
been done.
recommendation, how many years should you do that though? Not every year.
No, I would say 5 years, check it out.
But you
know,
can keep an eye on it too, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
See if it's,
And, gotta keep sand away from the pumps.
get an idea how much is in there now anyway.
Right, she's clean now.
Good.
And, that's good.
So we're working on that study for the water treatment plant. Josh has been trying to get together with Kenny, Jamie, Dean, and myself, to even get to the point that they can write a grant, give us a proposal, and we haven't met yet. So we're still trying to coordinate schedules to get together so we can talk about what we think we wanna do, and then he can give us a, proposal, and then we can see if we're willing to do it, look for the grant money. The community center improvements. So, it's been determined we have to do the phase 2 study. We're still looking for some money from, the EPA. They denied us, but Josh went back to them to say, whatever their claim was, you can see in those papers, we feel it's wrong. So he went back, he said, this isn't correct, let's review this and talk to him. So we're still waiting, but I need approval to move ahead with phase 2. We can wait to see if the grant money comes through, but either way, we have to do it. We can't go on any further with our project unless we do a phase 2. So I need a motion for approval on phase 2.
Is that the filling of the wells?
Yes, boring of the holes.
Which will be out here, not over there.
Wherever they deem necessary. I mean, we fought around with it. We did. And then we kind of thought we got it taken care of because we thought EPA would pay for it, but now it's looking like no, so, but we would have to do it. If we don't do phase 2, we give them back their money, is where we're at.
What's phase 2 cost?
$18,000. And it can be paid with grant money, so it's not that it can't be paid with grant money.
So we don't know where they're gonna drill, other than it's gotta be on, it can't be on anybody else's property, it'll be on this one.
They showed, they had
Because they had wasn't on each.
they had a diagram, it was on the
Yeah,
corners here.
In the proposal, or the last time when we had it in the packet.
Yeah, it was
Back.
Like each corner of the building.
each corner here, and then they were way over in the Roadley's old
Yeah.
place
Yeah,
there.
and you know the property.
First State Bank.
But I still think that's the requirement that they're making it do.
The neighbor's property. I thought that was a gesture.
They're, address their way.
So if we bore, then there's a problem. What's that gonna cost us?
Well, if we can get in on a grant, like the EPA money, they'll have money to remediate it if we have to. That's
Well,
why I would like,
I like that part where you say if though,
yeah,
because these grants, as we've already seen, then along comes EPA and along comes another ding dong down in Bismarck, and the next thing you know, we're sitting here and thinking
3
about
years later.
boring holes.
Well, I'm okay with it, as long as we're not doing.
Should we see if we get that grant though first, let's see if they come up with something
No,
else with it.
no.
Well, then we wait
That's just.
till the next meeting.
Well,
Yeah, do we open up another Pandora's box if
We
we
have to say that.
drill and then they
We
say,
should have only
Maybe,
do it on our property.
You would think.
Yeah.
so if we get the grant, we can go right away, but we should get at least a motion if we get the grant, we get started. What do you think?
but what happens when they find something? And
Well,
it
at least
leaks
if the
or
grant's paid for, then we can decide that later, I'll get the grant.
No,
we get
if
going.
we have a grant, they're gonna go through remediation with payment. They're not gonna give us a grant for the study if they're not gonna, I mean, that's why it's so important. Like, if we do this, then
It's gonna get done.
it's gonna get done. If we expose it, they're gonna clean it up for us.
Well, as long as it's only on our property, I'm okay with that. make that a motion.
And we don't make,
But it has to be on our property.
but
not the neighbor's.
if we don't wanna make it,
Milo,
a mess for the next property person.
No.
I'm gonna go back.
That depends on how you look at it.
I know.
If they're doing it on the other property and they find a problem, they're gonna take care of it.
I understand that.
Where that poor guy that
Decided that was a big thing.
didn't know he had a problem,
Yeah.
They thought we
is
owned
gonna
that
get it
problem.
cleaned up.
Yeah.
Where otherwise it's just gonna still be a problem for him. So it really is not
I don't know.
gonna cost him anything.
Well, a borehole out here and here, you know, could affect next door if it's leaching. We don't know what they're boring for. Heaven forbid it's fuel oil from, we don't even probably wanna talk about that. Algorithm or Sioux Line Railroad.
Or.
Well, they bore over here all the time and they check those.
Well, they have wells over there that they check.
Yeah.
I think we should go ahead and try to get the grant, whatever.
I like what Milo says, as long as it's on our property.
Well, and like I said, I look at it this way, if the old Cenex building had problems, and they come over and they board on my property over at Little Mart, and all of a sudden they say, hey, you got a shit ton of problems. You got oil, you got gas, all over the place. They're gonna pay for it. I'm not gonna pay for it. So I'm gonna get my property cleaned up on the dime of the government then. So why wouldn't I want to?
I understand that part.
So if they find something, they will clean it up?
That's what she said.
Is that what you're saying?
That's why it's so important to get the grant money. Yes, if we
Okay.
get the
Well,
grant
then we
money,
have to get the grant money, yeah.
In order to get the grant money, we have to do this 18,000?
no. Well, we're talking two different grants.
Okay.
We're talking, we could pay for the $18,000 out of the CDBG grant that we already have for $276,000. So yes, that is grant money. But we're really hoping we can use the FEMA grant money, because then FEMA would go into remediation, and we would still have our $276,000.
When will we find out if we get the FEMA grant?
I don't know that. We are waiting patiently.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Because again, they already denied us once, remember, we're
Okay,
going
so,
down.
so phase two isn't gonna go on until we get the FEMA grant?
If we get it,
If we
that's
get
what I'm asking.
So if we, okay.
If we
So
don't get it,
What are we voting on? To do the FEMA grant?
That's the way to put a motion.
yeah. What am I requesting?
We'll just discuss.
I'm requesting that we can go ahead and do phase two, study, hopefully with grant money, but and I can't guarantee that it's not gonna be on our property. So if that's Milo's stickler that has to be on our property, I can't guarantee that. I'm not the person, and it's not my requirement.
Well, I just don't think we have the authority to go authorizing someone to do something on somebody else's property. Which in this case, would
Well, they'd have to tell us what they're gonna do.
Well, and like I said, we had a proposal
But he was all
where he
wrong
was
on
going.
property, though, that guy was wrong. I mean,
Yeah, he
Yeah.
thought we owned that.
He thought we owned it, we didn't.
Do we need another proposal?
And I told him, yeah, I said, boy, you guys really did your homework. But I think I'd go for the 18, there's gotta be a phase two, we gotta, you know, at least. I don't wanna let the money go, I really don't.
So without the phase two, we're giving the money back.
If we don't do the phase two, we give them back everything right now.
We don't wanna give that back.
Well, we just.
So we
need to
could
make
take
sure
that
that they
18,000 out
understand
of that other
it's
grant that we have up too, so we
Yeah.
can get it either way, we won't.
I mean,
be
we're
out
not
of it,
gonna
so-
pay for it.
So we're gonna get it one or the other, I guess.
So it sounded like more engineering kinda got that straightened out.
So hopefully.
He was
Sound-
hoping that
That's
he
what
had
I
a
thought I heard.
valid,
Yeah.
hoping.
Maybe, but.
Maybe we should have the city attorney write a nasty letter and make sure we do
You
it.
shouldn't be worrying about it.
Huh? Or they'd like to give them a letter from our attorneys or whatever?
Donnie, I wasn't listening, I'm sorry.
I
was
said, I
looking at my
think we're
computer.
worrying about something that might happen that we have no control over anyway. So we might as well just go with the phase two and go from there. That's my opinion.
Thank you, I wasn't.
So you would say we go ahead with phase two and
Yes.
whatever, how we have to do it.
Yes, and we deal with,
That is a motion.
we can deal with whatever we gotta deal with when
Yeah.
we get to
Is
that
that a
point.
motion, Donnie?
That's a motion.
Okay, we got a one.
You know, actually, I kinda like that, so I'll say.
So you second that, Gil?
Yeah.
Okay, any discussion? Discussion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, that's it.
I think that's
Okay,
it.
now we talk
Was there anything
about
else
armory
for Josh?
updates, I guess, and then,
I think that's kind of the armory.
the other was, the carpet, supposedly that guy came in and took a look, and, I don't know, it's gonna, pretty soon just gotta get everybody in there, get the runaround here a little bit or whatever, I don't know, said some chemical reaction, maybe, I don't know what's going on for sure. We haven't got a copy of that report, but keep pursuing that, but it's not right, so, on that part. The other one, I just wanna make sure, we got a call from Gary today, he got an email from me, it was not from me, he got something from me one time, it was not from
I
me.
got one from today.
Huh?
I got one from you today.
And I don't know what's going on. If I'm gonna get a hold of you, I will call you.
You can tell this was done, this was AI generated.
And I said, so if I'm gonna get a hold of you, I will call you or text you or whatever, because don't take any emails off that he called and that I'd be busy or doing something and respond, but don't do that. It's, I don't know what's going on there. It's not the first time, so I'll call you or text you if something comes up that you need to.
Yeah, or if you see a fishy email, we can call the office and say, hey, what do we think? We can always send it
I
over
don't
to
want you to
our
open it and
IT.
get a virus or whatever it was, whatever happened.
So this time it was on here.
Yeah, that's what mine was.
Right.
This time it was on the shop.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we had a new good liquor license, I think just Tim Keller wanted to change the name or whatever on his liquor license, it looks to me, and then, we had the chief boss said there's nothing out there on him or anything, so I think it's just a name change, is that correct?
That is correct.
He's keeping his license the same, then he's not,
It's not changing.
not changing anything,
It
just
was
changing
all-
his name.
It was all in Kathy's.
Yeah, just the same thing, or just getting his name, so. Do you have the big motion on that?
We need
So
a
a motion, then get Tim Keller to,
Second.
Gary.
We'll put it, one of us.
Gary first, Gary second, okay. Any discussion, any discussion, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Other, we had the Board of Adjustments meeting, and we approved both adjustments, now we have to have the council approve it, if you, one is from, the mayor, and the other one's from, Alvach or whatever, and they're in your packets, if you want to approve those adjustments from the committee, whatever, we need a motion to do that.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Any second? Discussion there, discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, anything else at the library, anything else that you guys see there? JDA, we talked about, nothing at the library, you're at the library, nothing, okay, good enough
That
there?
was good. I was happy to see there's a resolution for credit cards.
They did do that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, gotta charge them, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Okay. Talk about the airport, nothing there. 49, if you wanna go to the Christmas party, get over to Sherry or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, good job, say a little bit more.
You wanna go to, city's gonna have a Christmas party on,
What's this?
Gillis, on Monday, December 23rd. It's at the town, it's at the Eagles Club at 5 o'clock.
Out of town country.
No, it's at the Eagles Club at 5 o'clock, it's just gonna be out there working, with steak or whatever, if you either wanna go, you need to get ahold of Sherry and.
Basically, they did.
Steak or something, let her know what you want. Anything else? No? Okay on that?
Then we brought it back up into.
Okay.
And then the rest money goes back.
Yes, Gil?
Got a couple things I'd like to ask.
Sure.
Noticed a grain semi truck going by my house the other day. What? I know that's wrong, right?
Yep.
That's,
On a truck route.
you know, and I couldn't catch who it was, you know, cause it's like, whoa, what the heck is going on? So, you know, I don't know what we gotta do other than the cops chase them down, but it's hard for them to chase them down when they're over there and the truck's over here, so. Just, there is a law against that semi grain truck coming through residential area,
All the streets are marked.
okay?
Here we go, on the screen.
Where are they marked?
here is
Or
the,
they drive truck out, not on Ninth.
it's not on Ninth.
No, there's no sign there.
There's no truck route on Ninth.
There's no sign there that says no truck route.
Doesn't have.
There's no truck route.
Okay, how do they know? If they go to
Because there's
Dale's
not
and
a
get.
sign.
If you
It
drive
has to be a
off the
sign.
truck route.
But if
It'll
they're
say
going-
truck
Yeah.
route.
Huh?
Says truck
There's a
route.
sign
truck
that says
That
truck
says
route.
truck route.
But if you're going there for business, like somebody dropping off their truck or delivery, or they're getting some
Yeah.
work done, then it's okay. They
But
can
not
use
a, not a grain truck.
Cause I see those trucks a lot, leave Dale's, turn, and go that way towards your, past your place to
Okay.
get out of town. I mean, I see it a lot.
Yeah.
Leaving Dale's.
I see grain trucks leaving Dale's, getting out of
I
town,
see
going
that,
that way.
yeah.
So that's why I'm saying,
Rather than
how
going
do
on
they,
Brewster.
yeah, how do they,
They should turn around, and go back to the
Rooster.
Brewster, yeah.
They could do it on the 7th.
Yeah.
I mean, I drive around, my bus route goes to Amherst. There's a sign on every street in the little town of Amherst that says, not a truck route with a deal through it, so they know. That's why I'm saying is how
Yeah.
would somebody coming from out of town, comes into town with their semi, get a tire fixed or drop off, know that they can.
I see what you're saying.
That was my only thing, of how can we,
There are a bunch of signs up on a bunch of the streets when they leave the truck route, but that might not be on every street.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how do we, I mean, Amherst is pretty easy. They only have a few streets, right?
yeah, right,
I mean,
know,
how do
yeah.
we, and I don't know, I guess that's why we
Yeah.
post truck route. John, how do you see it done again?
That's my understanding of how it works. I mean, they both follow the truck route signs.
I don't know.
Josh has been a trucker how many years? What's the patrol for the last 10 years? I mean, we just, if you're driving, you follow the truck route signs. The other downside is you got 10-ton streets in town. You got an empty grain truck and they're under 10 ton. So how do you enforce a truck route if you're under 10 ton?
They're a truck.
Yep, if you're under 10 ton, you got a 10-ton weight limit.
One sign says that.
See, and that's one of the questions
Yeah,
I have with the bus.
saying if he's coming from Dale's and he's facing north, he's gonna have to go north. I mean, you can't just turn around and go back.
No. I mean, if they know they can go
But they should-
north up to Fifth Street or whatever, that's Sixth Street.
Then if-
Yeah, Seventh, that'd be
But
Seventh,
if they
then they
don't
would know, but if they don't know.
Are we discussing one person? I mean, is this one person that constantly violates this?
No, I just happened to notice it the other day, and,
I
yeah.
know the other day I talked to him about the super value, so I mean, we're watching for him, and I mean, I think a lot of it is respectful too, you know? If they're going to a tire shop, get a tire fixed, and they're gonna take the easiest way out of town, I don't see why hassle it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think he's 70 foot long, it's hard to get around.
Okay,
Another thing,
Yes.
got a few more.
sure, okay.
Non or residential only, is there any kind of law, rules, regulations? They got construction crap parked across the sidewalks, across the alleys, you know, I don't need to mention any names, but I'm talking residential, vehicles, front yard, on sidewalks, cross sidewalks, what the heck? Looks like
And
a
I know there's been some in the front yard.
Looks
places in the
like
front
a
yard that I don't know what they do.
junkyard sometimes.
Almost as bad as garbage cans out in the front
Yeah,
boulevard.
yeah, that's true too. And the next one, and the last one I'm gonna, I drove by here the other day, I know we talked about this, about maybe the second month I had my first appointment there. Them windows look like crap on the outside, they're gonna go to hell if we don't paint them.
I know, we talked about that here last week, I don't
I
front
mean-
it too, I mean, we're talking about.
But I mean, we don't need to replace these, but if we don't do something on the outside, they're gonna eat away at it. So, I think we should paint them. And get it done.
Better painters.
I'm sorry, Jay.
I thought, no,
Sorry.
I'm fine with that, but, wasn't that part of the construction, is why we didn't do it?
These back here wouldn't be part of it.
Oh, okay,
No.
yes,
The south side, that was definitely part of the plan, was to replace all the
Yeah,
yeah, well, these were never meant to be replaced.
okay,
Okay.
there you go, see, all you gotta do with that, should be. Anything else?
I'm done.
Sure.
Yep.
Anybody else? Good meeting, anybody else? None? Meeting adjourned.
You gotta go.
Clock shop, closing down.
Huh?
No, John's for
Yeah, you know, since it's coming. Like you said, something about loader or unloader, I don't know what these working on. You know, this is quite a few years ago when we went over to Pheasant and faced a rail car. Guys, our road truck out, look down and go, move. $50. $50, you need to follow the, good to see you guys talk about. Yep. This is,